8 months of being a YouTuber, you better bet. Why did you do that? 8 months of being a YouTuber, I've got something to say. There's some mistakes that I made and I think it's something that's relatable. So let's have a conversation. Is that good?
Yeah. She wanna be where it's shining. Yeah. I said it's all in the timing. You know that.
I like the yellow weaver.
Alright.
One of those.
Thank you.
Three.
Go down four. And when to get
So
over.
nice.
Amazing.
Check here. But that is the backdrop. So some of these things aren't actually really that bad, to be honest with you, because you need to see from which perspective some of these things are being done. Especially when you post like in sub for sub Facebook group, that is definitely a no-no, but we do it because we want to gain some traction with the channel. I definitely made some of those mistakes, but I don't want you to feel bad. I'm not ridiculing anybody that's doing these kind of things. It's just, if you realize in the beginning that these are the kind of things you're not supposed to be doing, you are going to do your channel a massive favor, because if you carry on doing it, you're going to just ultimately hurt the channel. So if you stop doing these things, you'll be able to grow substantially with the YouTube algorithm. So there's a few things that I've learned in the last 8 months since I uploaded the first introduction video on my YouTube channel, where I basically spent a little bit of time introducing myself to my potential audience, showing who I am, and also highlighting some of the goals that I had in mind, and also the intent of the YouTube channel. So I just wanted to come back and just talk about some of the things that I've learned over the 8 months, some of the mistakes that I've made, some of the improvements that I have implemented and have been implementing over the last couple of months, and just wanted to share it with you, the day ones, the people that have been here since the beginning. And I think it's so important because I'm just touching base with you guys just to have that open and honest conversation about, some of the things that I did wrong, that I think I did wrong on the channel. And it's not specifically to the videos that I created, it's more about how I approached the YouTube sphere. So before my first official vlog that I uploaded to the channel, which was on the 7th of January, I passively uploaded videos to the channel. Most of those things were just creations that I did, short videos that I did that ordinarily didn't feature me, because I was never made, or I felt that I was never made for the camera, and ordinarily I did not know what to say. It was easier for me to tell other people's stories rather than sharing any of my thoughts. From the beginning of this year, I decided that, hey, listen, I'm gonna take the leap of faith. I'm gonna start the YouTube channel and we can see how far we're gonna go. So the first thing that I want to mention, the number one thing that you should not do those sub for sub nonsense. Everyone in those Facebook groups aren't there to consume your content. They want to get to that first 1,000 subscribers because everybody's there for the exact same thing. They're not your audience. They're not the people that you're talking to. So they don't engage with your content. They don't like your content. It does worse for your channel. With YouTube, it's less about the subscribers and the amount of views, but rather more about the retention and watch hours. So you can be a small channel, but you could potentially have your content being shared on YouTube purely because there is a shared interest, and then that content gets shared over the platform to other potential audience members that could potentially subscribe to your channel. Retention, time, and watch hours are pretty much more important than views and subs, because views don't show the whole entire picture. Which leads me into the second tip that I have for you is spend time understanding your analytics. Within your analytics, you can understand what works for your channel and what your audiences enjoy watching, and also the stuff that your audiences completely tune out to. And for me, that was a tough pill to swallow because I could never understand what the tune out factor was. I always thought it was because I'm South African, I have this weird accent, I have a strange way of speaking. I think one guy actually commented and said that I sound very monotone, and I think that hit me like for a couple of weeks, to be honest with you, because after that I tried to be like this happy-go-lucky person trying to speak in a more assertive way, so that forced me to go and write things that I wanted to say on the video. You know, when I looked at some of the analytics, I figured that, you know, retention time wasn't of the best, and ultimately the goal that I set for myself for, you know, to have 1,000 subscribers by April 2021, unfortunately that didn't transpire because maybe the goal was a little bit too ambitious. Maybe it was because I didn't from the onset decide what my niche was. So a lot of my content covers reviews, it covers mobile filmmaking. It's just for me how I plan on presenting that to my audience so that it is consumed in such a way that A, I reach the goal of actually retaining audiences watching the channel and the content that I post, and B, subscribe to my channel, and C, actually returning every single time I post something. All of that information is within the analytics. Go and deep dive in those analytics. Go find as much information in those analytics and study them so that every time when you plan your content, you have all of those things in mind. Tip number 3, and this is what every single YouTuber goes through, and I even find these comments in Facebook groups where people, you know, the sub for sub groups, I find a lot of people actually saying this in those groups. They say that I am not growing. YouTube is not recommending my content to an audience. I'm not reaching my goals, therefore I am going to give up. I'm not the same creator as I was on the 7th of January. Every single video that I make, I become a better creator. I just started becoming like less worried about what people think of me or the perception that I have of what people think of me, and just embrace some of the engagement that I've had on the channel, which has been phenomenal. You know, I had to learn, like personally from, you know, myself, that I needed to put aside the negative ideas that I have of myself and not give up on my channel. Don't give up on your YouTube channel. Don't give up on the journey. Look at the analytics, correct those things, and move forward. Create better content. That's the only way. Which leads into my fourth point. Number 4 is learn from your mistakes. It is so easy to want to hit perfection every single time. And I think for me as a creator, not only creating content on YouTube, but also a person that has been a music producer for a better part of my adult life, and someone that works in the radio production space, you know, hitting the nail on the head every single time. It wasn't an exception, it was the rule. Throughout these 8 months, I can't say that I've hit everything on the nail. Every single video that I do is a milestone and an achievement and something that I've learned for the future, and therefore I don't think that it's a bad thing that I made some of those mistakes. And I think number 5 is very important, because for every subscriber, serving them is the point of why you're creating the content. Your delivery in that content should be humility. There should be humility in the way you create your content and the way you engage with your audience. So always remain humble in your content creation, because sometimes becoming too cocky can sometimes just like misdirect you from the original purpose of when you created your YouTube channel. I think this is like one of the fun videos that I've made, because I get to speak to my audience. I get to speak to you. I'm just showing my vulnerability as a creator. There has been highlights. I'm not going to say that everything was completely bad. These are just some of the things that I've learned and I've been trying to improve, and I'm staying the course to make sure that I get to at least my first 1,000 subscribers, enjoying creating the content at the same time. I think it's so vital that, when you do this thing, it should be from the heart. What's the point of trying to get to 1,000 subs if this is not really what you want to do? If you just want to be YouTube famous, then get off the platform, because that's not what it's about. I think putting in the work first, growing first on the platform, adding value to other people's lives is the first thing that should be top of mind before you even think of the first 100,000 subscribers. Anyway, the video is quite long. I just wanted to say thank you, and until next time, the next video that I'm doing involves the Crane M2, which hopefully I'm going to link up here. How to balance the Crane M2 with your point and shoot camera, which is the ZV-1, or a mirrorless camera, or a smartphone, or a GoPro. It's a fantastic gimbal, and it's something that I definitely recommend. So I'm going to put this video up here, and until next time, cheers. Hit that thing like a